Jonathan J.Y. Yickey, a.k.a.
What is going
Summer Stash.
Right. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you good, man. Take it over.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for getting on, everyone. Welcome to the Alleman Agency team call. I'm excited. I'm not going to use the whole 30 minutes, but I do want to take questions after I'm done. So reason why we do these calls, I've been doing this at least 6 years in August, and I try to get on every call every week. Okay. And here's why, because there's always something someone's going to say. It may be the same information, but it's just said in a different way, right? Because we're all different. We have something to contribute that will resonate with you differently or remind you and make you better. Okay. Because this industry, sales and service, all it is it's a personal growth journey with a paycheck attached to it. If you want to be good at it, that's what it is. And so when we can understand that, we realize the value of these calls because it's a personal growth journey. If we want our paycheck to keep going up, we got to keep personally growing. So I wanted to touch on an acronym today that some of you might have heard, might not have heard, but that will definitely help you remember. And it's in the ATM on why people get life insurance. But the acronym is LIFE. So if you're taking notes, you can write LIFE, L, capital I, capital F, capital E, in a vertical line. So instead of writing it like normal, just write L and then under it I, like this. If you can see that. So what the L stands for, thank you, Mike. You're brilliant. Just like that. So what the L stands for is loans, okay? So people get life insurance to cover loans. So that could be mortgage protection. It could be car loans. It could be student loans. It could be anything. But the majority of the time, it's a loan on your house, right? The second reason is income. So people buy life insurance to replace income. So for instance, if I die, I don't want Megan to have to depend or worry about replacing my income. That's why I have almost $2 million in coverage if something were to happen to me. One reason, right? And that's going to be most reasons with most families. Not everyone brings in the same amount of income. It's not super common. You might see it sometimes, but majority of the time it's not, okay? Third reason is funeral costs or final expenses. However you want to say it is the third reason. So people want to get this because, hey, they recently had an experience with having to pay for a funeral or see someone else having to pay for a funeral. Or it's just something they know they need to take care of, right? And then the last reason is education or legacy to your family. So this has been a really good reminder for me to help me remember why people get life insurance, especially whenever we are seeing people, right? Because regardless of how long we do the business or how good we get at it, we are human beings and we forget stuff, right? Even though we know it, we just need to be reminded. So hopefully that can kind of help stick in your head, like life, okay? Loans, income, funeral, education. And so regardless of who we're seeing, whether it's a referral, whether it's a a lead, right? We know when people fill out a lead, there's a reason, but this gives us more ammo, I guess you could say, or gives us a detailed reason on why this person filled it out, right? Because a lot of times people fill out a lead and they know they need it, but they're not really sure why. Make sense? So it's our job to say, okay, well, here's the reasons why people do this. Why did you send this in? Something else you can write down is this. With our presentation, we want it to be entertaining, we want it to be emotional, and we want it to be educational. This is the educational part of the ATM. And the ATM is going to help you be entertaining, be emotional, and be educational. That's why we use it, right? But this is the educational part of the ATM. So I want to tell you a story before Michelle or Mike, if you have something to add to it, you can, or before anyone has questions. But so I just want to tell you a story, okay? Hopefully you can relate to. So I called a lead this past week, and it was an older lead. Okay, it was sent back at the end of November, early December of 2020. All right, and I just hadn't been able to book an appointment with him. Hadn't been able to get in touch with him. I'm not really sure what happened, but regardless, I hadn't seen the client yet. So I continued to call. Well, he finally answered, and I scheduled an appointment. When I get over there, he's like, yeah, I'm not really even sure why I filled this out. It was a final expense request is what it was. He's like, I really don't know why I filled this out. And I said, no problem. I said, my job's just to help you and treat you like my own family. If this doesn't make sense for you, that's fine. We stay friends, right? And he was very comfortable with that. So I said, okay, well, here's the reasons why people get life insurance. And he was like, well, I never heard it put that way. And I said, yeah. He goes, well, I feel like I'm completely covered. And I said, okay, well, what policies do you have? And he goes, well, I have one with MetLife, one with Physicians Mutual. I've got several on my kids and my brother. So we'll go ahead and grab the policies. Well, all he had was cover letters, which is fine. But on his MetLife one, he had no idea what the coverage was or what kind of coverage it was. And I just said, hey, Johnny, has anyone explained this to you? Like, has anyone done a review and explained the details of your insurance? And he was like, no. And I said, well, if I were in your shoes, right, I would like someone to explain something that's this important to my family. Do you feel the same way? He goes, well, yeah. I said, because I don't want to be 10 years down the road and this is something different than I thought it was. And he was like, right. So long story short, we ended up calling that company, finding out it's a term policy that increases every 5 years. Okay. And I was able to help him with some permanent coverage. He's going to keep that for the next 10 years because it makes sense. But now I was able to find a need where I was able to add a permanent policy and then actually continue to add more insurance over the years as that policy, continues to increase. So the point of the story is there's thousands of people out there that fill out requests that have seen an agent, multiple agents that haven't just taken the time to say, hey, has anyone explained to you why people get insurance? And look, guys, insurance companies are not going to explain this to people. That's why there's so much opportunity with what we do, right? And so I tell you that to encourage you, like, all leads work. Doesn't matter how old it is. All we have to do is be willing to actually go see the people, right? And explain to them why people do this. And then listen to them long enough to figure out what they actually need. And that's my heart. That's Mike and Michelle's heart, is to help you win and help you reach whatever goal you're trying to reach here. And that's the perk. We're not doing this call just to waste everyone's time. Like, you're not on here at 7:30 every Monday just to be on here. Like, there's a reason you are on, and there's a reason you're in the business, whether that be, paying off debt, whether it be to make part-time income, whether it be to make more than you ever have, right? In any other job. Whatever it is, we're here to help you do that quicker as opposed to longer. So that's really all I have, but I do want to take questions, or if anybody has anything to add to that. I saw your hand, Michelle.
It was just a question. You said they showed you the cover sheets.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find out it was term?
So something that I learned from you a long time ago is always call the insurance company if there's not an actual policy you can look at. Because the reality is, it's a lot of times hard to read the policy. So we just called the number on the form, and I let him know, hey, we're going to call. They're going to ask your permission for me to talk to them about the policy, and then we'll find out the details. Are you okay with that? Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with it. And so we just called, and I said, hey, can you explain to me when this was issued and what type of coverage is this? Is it term or is it whole life, permanent? And she goes, it's term. And I said, okay, is the price ever going to increase? She goes, yes. And then she just told us the dates it was going to increase and what it was going to increase to.
What I want to tell you though, Johnny, it's a lot of people, when they go in there and do what you did, they do it in a different way to make people feel like they're interrogating them or like that they're wrong for buying insurance. I don't know. There's just the way that you did it. I want to make that. I want y'all to know it was the way he did it, right?
Right.
I can't put my finger on that, but you know what I'm saying? It was the way you did it. You did it. You were sincere. And that's important part about it is being really sincere and not trying to make people wrong, but just trying to help them understand what it is.
Right. And I've learned how to communicate like that by being on these calls, like, period. By listening to someone else explain it more than once, right? And then doing it on my own and then hearing it again. But yeah, it's like Michelle said, I didn't tear the guy apart for it. I told him he should keep it for another 10 years because it makes sense based on his health, right? And he really appreciated it. And then he said, well, tell me what you think I should do because I really appreciate you helping me. No one's ever done that. I said, okay, well, here's what I think. Start something permanent now so that you can get it started because you're never going to be this young. And then year after year, we can reevaluate it.
And just to piggyback off of what you were saying or edify what you did earlier, Jonathan, is the guy had adopted children that he needs to be able to take care of for the next 10 years. And Jonathan knew there was no other plan that could give him that type of coverage except for the one that he had. However, there was going to be no coverage eventually. So there's a need there too. But you find that by starting with, what are we here? I'm here to help you. If I can't help you, I promise I won't hurt you. And that's what you can say to people. And then go through that, finding the need with them. And when we say finding the need, being able to write out life and being able to write out loans, income replacement, funeral expenses. I'm sorry, to write down life and be able to put all that stuff there, and right next to it, the client's answers of what is your loans, what's your total balance, what's your income, how many years would you want to replace your income for, how much do you think a funeral expense costs these days, and do you have any children that you'd want to leave behind education expenses for? Once you ask those questions and you write down the number figure that the client has given you next to it, and then you total it up at the end, you go, this is the amount of coverage you told me that you need. Now let's work backwards and figure out, if you even need this coverage. You might have enough. You might not. But we don't know that until we assess it. So I just wanted to edify you in that, Jonathan, because I think that it comes from a place of service more than anything. We got to understand, and that you're really trying to help people get in a better situation. And you have to first start with the rapport building, right? Become a friend first. And then just be honest with them, We're going to assess your situation, and I'm going to advise you on what I think is best. And if I can't help you, I promise I won't hurt you. You then have permission to really go and serve the families. So I just want to edify you because you did well in that earlier. If y'all can't tell, we were listening to this conversation earlier today while we were in the office. That's why it's also good to come up to the office. Go ahead, Jonathan. I just wanted to.
Yeah, and I still call. I called Megan and asked, hey, here's what happened. Even though I've been doing this long enough to not have to call, it's important to call someone and just get their opinion, because even Kobe Bryant said, I can't see myself shooting the basketball. I still need a coach. I can't see that angle, even though I'm probably the best there ever was, arguably, right? I still need it. And we would be fools to say that we know it all or we don't need that anymore. It's the same in this business. You're calling someone and going over what you did that week I can't explain how valuable it is, right?
It's critical. It's absolutely critical to your success. If you're not doing that, you're not going to get better. And just to go back on what you said at the very beginning, Jonathan, this is a personal growth business with a paycheck attached to it. If we're not continuously getting better at what we're doing, then don't expect to get in a different situation than where you are currently.
Right. Right.
You got to have realistic expectations with what you expect of yourself and then the outcome, but you've got to put the expectations of the work behind it too, right? To get to the next level.
Right.
And it's not going to be comfortable, in case you're wondering. Success is never comfortable.
Yeah. No. So, yeah, I don't really have anything else. Does anyone else have questions or comments or anything?
My comment is I'm super excited because my husband is going to be helping me. He said I could tell everyone, but he doesn't want to be on camera. And he wants to meet with Mike. And we're going to be working the business together like you guys.
It's awesome. Excited for you.
Love it. Michelle's screaming over there.
I know. I'm so excited.
The power of two is pretty powerful. Whenever you guys can get together.
Yeah.
Congrats. That's amazing.
Here's an example. Okay. So Katie, everyone knows Katie. She's great at business. And she's helped a lot of us. Okay. Well, Katie called me and Megan last week to ask our advice on something. Well, no wonder Katie's doing well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not a coincidence, right?
Okay.
And I don't say that to make anyone feel bad. I'm just the people that are consistently winning the trips and submitting good amount of business are consistently making sure their thinking is right.
Okay.
Wait, does that make sense?
Mhm.
So, yeah, the more, it's not rocket science what we do.
Right.
And you can really change your income, change your life by simply just asking. That's all it is.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
what's your advice? What would you do here? Right? And then just taking that advice, because the people that I listen to have done it longer than me. So,
Yeah.
who am I to say that I have a better, idea than Michelle or Mike, right?
Right.
It would be crazy for me to think that, So and I say it to be encouraging. Like, everyone's here to help you. It's not here to, try to make the route you're taking more difficult than it needs to be, So.
But
I appreciate that.
Sharon, Jonathan does have fabulous ideas. I don't know if you know it or not, but we all listen to each other in this office every day. Sometimes
Yeah.
I walk in there and go, "What did you just do? Tell me about it." And I'm like,
Mm.
and they're listening to me and I'm listening to them. And in fact, I got to tell you this, Jonathan, I don't know if I told you already, but last week when I was in North Carolina for the
Mhm.
training, and I was talking to a few folks, and I was talking to Kelly Haney, and I said, "Yeah, man, on my phone calls, I tell everybody that I'm their caseworker," and she said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I did. I just listened to Jonathan in our office." And then she texted me the next day and she said, "Michelle, thank you so much. I don't care if Jonathan did it first, but thank you so much. I told my guys and it worked." Somebody that they had dialed and been hung up on 10 times.
Wow.
Called, got the appointment, got in the home, and made the sale.
I'm a
So,
caseworker.
I
That's
mean,
I'm a
right.
caseworker.
You are.
Yeah.
you're working on the case. You're a
It
caseworker.
is.
You're working on their case.
It's
Right.
true.
I mean, yeah, you really are. We're the
100%.
caseworker, field underwriter, and we're just there to serve people, right? It's our job to make sure.
Yeah.
It gets us in the door, and they eventually realize we're an insurance agent, but it's state regulated, and they need a policy, and they like you, and they get one, and that's the bottom line.
That's right.
Right. And, if you're
And they
not.
filled out the form.
But
Right.
I did give you the credit, Jonathan, and yeah, we copy each other in this office a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
But something to remember too is, like, what Michelle's saying is it's easy to think that way, but also Michelle's on the calls and she's reading, right? Because this business is 100% about keeping the way you're thinking correct, right? It's very easy to think incorrectly, and that can slow us down. And the way we think correctly is we get around people who are thinking correctly, and we read stuff that helps us, right? It's just small little stuff that make a big difference. I wish it was different. I really do. But it's just facts. It's also encouraging because it's simple stuff, right? It's not complicated. So, anyone else?
We're all capable, and remember, people asked for your help. Let's go serve them.
Yep.
Anybody else got anything tonight? Anything you want to question, comments, concerns? Mikey.
Yeah, I was going to tell everybody next week we are all out of town. There will be no call next Monday. If it was already said, I apologize, but I'm repeating it again. No call next Monday, but we'll let y'all know. And we'll hopefully it'll be great weather wherever we're going. That's it for me.
Woohoo!
And if you haven't already, please go and sign up, book your hotel, figure out who you're bringing with you to SummerSlam. If you don't know where to register, go to the 411 channel on the Slack and go ahead and register.
SummerSlam will get you 6 months. 6 months ahead of the crowd who's not
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Oh, I got you. Can you hear me? Wait a minute. Oh, you can hear me. Okay, sorry. I was just gonna ask you about the 27th in North Carolina. I'm gonna register
So that
for that.
one's the 29th. Wait,
Oh,
the 20. I'll tell you, Sean. It's the 29th through August 1st. In North Carolina.
Oh no. Okay, never mind that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
thank you.
29th through August 1st is when that one is.
Okay. I thought, okay. All right. Thanks, Megan.
You're
Who
welcome.
did you think it was?
I thought it was a one-day event with Andy Albright on the 28th. No.
Well, are you talking about in July?
No. That's the thing. I'm talking about this month, the 27th.
Oh, I think we'll have to look that up and see, but it's probably on the ARC if he
Yeah.
is. Oh, Wilmington. Yep, Wilmington, North Carolina. He will be. I just pulled up the ARC and found it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep, Wilmington, North Carolina. That's the Adam Katz office on May 27th at 9 a.m. Eastern. You were
Well,
correct.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you more about
So to register for that one, you just need to go to the ARC and scroll down to upcoming events and register through there.
Okay.
Super easy.
Okay, I'll take care of it. Thank you.
You're welcome. There was something else I was going to say. I forgot. So, Katie, anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns before we end for this evening? Okie dokie. Oh, this is what I was going to say. What do y'all think about Jonathan's Dirty 30 stash?
That's right.
This boy just turned 30 years old yesterday. He went for the stash.
60.
Anybody who votes to keep the stash, let me know, because I'm voting that the stash goes away.
It looks awesome, I think.
Got to keep it for 30 days.
Yeah, I gotta keep these for 30 days.
You gotta keep it in Mexico too. Mexico needs
Hey,
the
and I wrote
stash.
10 grand with the stash, so it's not going away until that goes below 10 grand.
Okay.
I heard that.
All right, y'all. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on the sales call in the morning.
All right.
Mike, my husband wants to talk to you tomorrow, Mike.
Okay. Text me. I'm not sure. I got a busy day, but text me. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's do it.